call to ensure the quorum status.
Yes, and also I got a message from Mr. Carnavale that he will be joining soon as well. Okay, so now we have quorum, we can go ahead and start. I will call roll and just let me know, just say present, so we know that you're on for this meeting. Victor Soto,
Present.
Manny Moreno,
Present.
and Mr. Moreno, since Miss Carmen Arrieta Candelaria is not present at this meeting, since you are the vice chair, you will need to take the lead on this meeting, okay?
Yeah, I'm not too keen on the rules and everything. You might have to help me, but sure.
Okay, thank you. Harlene Barth,
Present.
Sebastian Alcazar,
Present.
and Ben Carnavale, I don't think he's here yet. Jacob Bard.
Present.
Okay, we have quorum with Mr. Bard.
Thank you very much, Elsa. I see Mr. Carnaval is logging on as well.
Mr. Carnavale, you're able to make it in? Mr. Ben Carnavale,
Hello, can you hear me?
are you present?
Yes, I am present now,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're good to go.
Elsa. So again, thank you all for joining us for this SEAC committee meeting for today, November 4th, 2021. If we can please have everybody mute themselves so we can eliminate any background noise, please. So at this point, in order to start the meeting, I'll go ahead and pass it over to the vice chair, Mr. Moreno, so he can go ahead and call the meeting to order. Mr. Moreno, to unmute yourself, you can press *6.
Right. Okay. Like I said, I'm not very versed on the meetings. I haven't done that in a long time. But I want to call the meeting of the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee to the meeting to order. At this time, if there's no other questions or concerns or whatever, we'd like to proceed with the presentations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moreno. So we'll go ahead and get started with the agenda. We do have 3 items on the agenda. So at this time, we'll go ahead and start with item number 1, which is a presentation by El Paso Water Utility on the report on impact fees, on the impact fees program.
Hey, good morning, committee members. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me and giving me an opportunity to present this report. I am Jeff Tepsick. I'm an assistant CFO with El Paso Water. With me, I also have Adriana Castillo, who is our engineering division manager. And I also have Gustavo Hurtado, who is the fiscal operations manager for EP Water. With that being said, I'll be presenting the semi-annual report on the water and wastewater impact fee program for the period of March 1st through August 31st, 2021. So in this report summary, it's going to be very brief. We did send over the more detailed report, which all of you should have received. If you guys have any questions on that report as I go through my overview, I'd be more than happy to answer that. With that being said, there were 3 new subdivisions that have been recorded and 9 applications have been submitted within the impact fee from the March 1st through August 31st time period. A total of 144 subdivisions have been assessed an impact fee, with 104 recorded and 40 of those subdivisions are in process. I will also cover the status of the capital improvements plan. I will review the impact fees that we have collected. And also wanted to point out, as we talked about in the last meeting, a revised land use assumptions and capital plan was presented to the CI committee in January of 2019. And as of today, City Council still has not considered the reports or taken any actions. So we are still operating on the prior land use assumptions and the fees that were assessed about over 7 years ago. Okay. Looking at the water impact fee projects, we have about $145 million that have been budgeted, of which $56 million has been spent life to date. Some of the major programs that we have include the Northeast Franklin distribution line, which we've spent about $4 million and we are in construction. The North 2 tank has been completed with a cost of around $6 million. The East Side Plan service area with a budget of $9 million is also in construction with a cost of a little over $10 million life to date. We have the East Side PSA reservoirs, which we spent about $9 million. The Jonathan Rogers water treatment plant expansion has been postponed, but we did spend around $2 million. And all other projects are budgeted about $74 million, of which $25 million have been spent. And those various projects are either in the plan, design, or construction phase. Okay. Just wanted to show you.
I've got a question.
Sure. Go ahead,
Okay,
sir.
this is okay, this is Manny Moreno. On the 3 projects that you've exceeded the project cost, those overruns will be absorbed through the other projects?
So if you look at the projects, of course, are estimates, right? So,
Right.
as we know, with the price escalations in labor and materials, any escalations or any costs that are increased, EP Water as a government agency is required to fund those. So any overruns will be funded through our CIP program from either other projects, or encumbrances.
Okay.
Hi, this is Ben. I got a question also.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
So when you guys start making your estimates for these projects, what is your percentage of overage that you kind of estimate, and how far in advance do you plan these projects? I see you have from March 24, 2009 to 2021. How far ahead are you planning these projects? And when you plan them, are you, of course, accounting for inflation? We know there's a specific 2 or 3% inflation every year. Is that something that you can address?
Sure. And let me first start off before I turn it off to our engineering division manager. So the March 24th, 2009 is the inception of when we started the impact fee program. So that is why the dates are from March 1st, 2019 to now. Okay, different projects of course will have different start dates, based on the land assumptions and when we need to serve that population. Now on cost and inflation, if Adriana Castillo is on the call, if you could please respond to that.
Yes, on the first question, yes, the cost estimates, they have a contingency percentage, which is around 15 to 20% when we prepare the cost estimates for each one of the projects. The second is that we need to remember that the total project costs, they're not the current costs. They were created 10 or 5 years ago, 10 years ago, well, not 10, 2009, which is now 12 years ago, when at the inception of the impact fee, we had a set of cost estimate. Then we did we're supposed to do a 5-year review. And then we, at that time, which was around 2014, we did an increase on the cost. But those costs have not changed since 2014. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of my question. That if you're applying a 15% contingency already, that should account for inflation. So where's the extra cost coming from that's not inflation?
Well, it is, remember, the latest cost that we have, the 2014 cost, because when we try to do the most recent update, which would have been the 2019, there was no action from City Council. So the 2014 cost remains, which is back then. They have not been updated for 6 years.
So,
And that's part of it.
yeah, so what Adriana is saying is we presented a updated cost. We also requested a change to the impact fees to recoup. And at 2019, and City Council did not take any action to present that. So what we're presenting are the costs that were estimated at that time. So those increases and the more up-to-date costs are not reflected because City Council has not taken any action. So we are forced to go with the prior land use assumptions and cost.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. That doesn't quite. Maybe we could talk offline about that because it doesn't make a total sense. If you're applying a 15% contingency off of your estimate, then that should account for any inflation that applies. Unless you guys are, I mean, this is going to have to get into accounting portion of it. But okay, I understand what you're saying.
Sure.
We'll just have to review that.
And plus, so there could be some change orders, right? These are estimates. So if we're estimating,
Right.
and there could be not inflation, but change orders, right? If something else had to be done. So yeah, if you need more information at that time, you can send us that request and we'll be more than happy to get that for you.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
Okay, just to follow up on that is, how much did the pandemic affect the cost of these projects based on the rising cost of material, steel, everything else that goes with it?
Yes, everything has gone up from, we have issues with supply chain, so getting the products makes
Right,
it,
right.
number one, there is a delay because we have now orders and that some of the products are 6 months lead time right now. And that makes it an increased cost. And then because every company, every utility or every other city is competing for the same, so the prices went for, the inflation goes, let's call it the COVID inflation applies here. Yeah,
so
we have seen increased costs, yes.
Okay, so I figure that the 10 to 15% contingency that you put in to begin with probably got overwritten because the pandemic was not expected and the rise in materials was not expected to, back then. We didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree with that statement. That's correct.
Right, okay.
Okay, if there's not any other questions, I'll move on to show you one of the projects that EP Water is working on. One of the North 2 booster station, which is 11.8 million gallons. And this shows the pump casings and control building. And this facility will serve developments on the northeast area and is expected to be completed around December 2021, which is next month. Another project is the E-Sign planned service area, which is a 16-inch diameter water main, phase 1. And this will serve new developments on the east side area south of Pelicano and should also be completed next month. Now we're going to move on to the wastewater side of things. Some of the projects that were slated or that are in construction or design are the Northeast Dyer and Railroad Interceptor with an estimated cost of $5.2 million. It is in the design phase. We spent about $740,000. The Moab Westway Interceptor on the west side is projected at $7 million. We've spent over $4.4 million. The Loop 375 Interceptor is a huge project with a project cost of over $40 million. We've already spent over $34 million. We've completed construction for the Mesa Drain Valley. The new construction is Pelicano Boulevard extension from Joe Battle to Mission Ridge. Okay. We also have the other interceptors, Area 8, $10 million project. We do have some planned new phases with a little over $2 million. So the project projected 115 million on the wastewater side, we've spent about $45 million. So as you can see, just to point out, we've spent $56 million in water and over $45 million on wastewater, right? Of that over $100 million that EP Water has spent, I'll go ahead and follow up later on what we've collected. It's only about $15 million, so I just wanted to point that. Now, a major program that we have on the wastewater is the Loop 375 interceptor, as you can see on this slide, which is the Pelicano Sewer Main Extension. And this will also serve the east side area with estimated completion in September of 2022. Okay. As I had previously alluded to, since inception in May of 2019 through August 2021, we've collected a little over $15 million in impact fees. Of that, a little over 2.5 million on the northeast side of town. On the west side, about $5 million. And our largest is on the east side, which is about $7.7 million. So just to conclude and summarize my report, there are 3 new subdivisions that have been recorded with 9 applications through this reporting period. A total of 144 subdivisions have been accessed, with 144 being completed and 40 in process. Okay. We did go over the status of the capital improvement plan. We did review the impact fee collections. And as we did talk about, no action has been done on the land use assumptions and the CIP that was presented in 2019. Which City Council did not consider. So I don't know if that needs to be revisited or, you know, if any other action, if we want to either work on a new one or revisit the one that was submitted. But we are kind of in limbo there and just operating on the prior land use and CIP assumptions. So with that, I conclude my presentation. You know, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. If there are any other questions or not, I will fill those at this time. Thank you.
Okay, this is Manny Moreno. I've got a question. Is El Paso Water and you know PSB thinking about submitting another, giving another try for another rate increase on stormwater fees and all that sometime in the near future?
As I can say, I am working. I am part of actually the budget process with El Paso Water. So at this point, we are looking at, you know, our CIP plan. There, of course, we all know there are a lot of infrastructure needs. So we are in the process of looking at what those needs are going to be from a capital, operating, debt service side. So I can't say that there will be a rate increase. You know, our 5-year plan did call for a rate increase this year, I believe. But, you know, depending on the board's direction of, you know, what capital that they want to do, you know, there possibly could be a rate increase.
Okay.
Of course, I don't have the authority to, you know, to say for sure, but, you know, there are a lot of infrastructure needs, and of course, capital is very expensive. You know, the stormwater fee is very low right now. So if those projects wanted to be completed, I think there would probably need to be an increase in my professional judgment. Okay,
because my understanding is, you know, we've been running with the same fee since 2004, right?
We did have a 6% increase this year. But the fee is very nominal for a residential. You know, we have a small, medium, and typical. I think our typical rate increase is around $4.25, more or less. So it is very nominal.
All right. Okay, I just think because I do think it's necessary based on the increase of cost of a lot of things, labor and material. It's just a matter of, I was involved in reviewing the last one that was submitted, I think 3 years ago, whatever. And there was a lot of inconsistency in the numbers that were used. And that might be one of the reasons that why, you know, I had 11 questions. They were all answered, not all to my satisfaction, but there was a lot of inconsistencies and the numbers that were used and how they were used. So just keep an eye out on that if you decide to submit an increase, which I think is necessary to some extent in the near future.
Now, when you say inconsistency, do you mean on the funding side, on the capital side, or on the rate side?
Well, I think there was a firm that was hired, I believe, to put this together. And when they came up with the increased percents for west side, east side, northeast, whatever, some of the numbers that they used did not match. They were using the numbers for 5-6 years for one, then dividing it by only 2 years. And I redlined the heck out of that thing. And that might be one of the reasons why this thing fell apart at the city council. I had to pass that on to my district representative. Yeah.
And Manny, I wanted to make sure that we're straight or we're clear. There's two separate things, right? I know you said west side, east side, and northeast. Now that would be the impact fee, right? Which is for water and wastewater.
Yeah,
It's
right.
totally separate
Exactly.
from. So I just want to make clear that those are two separate items.
Yeah. But I mean, are you looking going forward in the near future for the raise and the impact fees?
Well, as we said, sir, we did present a request for an increase back in 2019, and that was has never been presented. So right now we're in limbo. There's nothing in the works.
Okay. All right. Got it. If there are no other questions, I think we need to proceed with make a motion to accept the semi-annual El Paso Water impact fees report.
Mr. Moreno?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So I believe this is a public hearing item. So if we need to open it up to the public, if there's anybody logged on from the public to voice their comments.
Okay, sure. No problem.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So if there is anybody logged on that would wish to speak on this item, please press *6 to unmute yourself. If there is anybody to speak on this item. Okay, hearing none, then we'll close it back to the commission and Mr. Moreno for the vote tally.
Again, I'd like to make a motion. Go ahead.
No, I was going to make the motion. You go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll second your motion.
Yeah, I'll say I want to make a motion to accept the El Paso Water Utility report on the impact fees from March 1st, 2021 to August 31st, 2021. Is there a second?
This is Jacob Barty. I second that motion.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have any nays? Okay. In that case, it's the motion be carried unanimously, so we've accepted. Okay. Now, the next thing is, I'd like to make a motion for the filing of the semi-annual program report for the period March 31st, 2021 to August 31st, 2021. Do I have a second?
This is Jacob Barty. I second that motion.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? So we've made two motions now, one to accept and one to file. Elsa, have you recorded that?
Yes, sir, I have all that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Very good presentation. I went pretty much in detail on your detail one, and I have no problem with it. I think the next thing is accepting the meetings of the last meeting that we had, or the meeting schedule. Discuss the meeting schedule, which is for the coming year, which I think is April 14th, 2022, and November the 3rd, 2022. Any discussions, any problems with the dates for the next meetings? I don't hear anything. Is that, are those dates okay with everybody present?
Yes, good with me.
Yeah, those dates
Okay.
are good with me as well.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we need a motion on this, do we, Ms. Ramirez?
We would, sir, we would need a motion for the committee to approve the 2022 schedule. Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'd like to make a motion to accept the 2022 schedule for the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee, April 14th, 2022, and November the 3rd, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second, Jacob Barty.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Okay. Then I believe the last item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the April 15th meeting. I think Ms. Amita sent all those out. We had a chance to look at it. I don't have an issue with anything, so I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the April 15th, 2021 meeting. Do I have a second?
Second, Jacob Barty.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any nays? Okay. Okay, so prior to adjournment, are there anything that anybody wants to bring up prior to us adjourning the meeting? Okay. I don't hear anything. In that case, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. I want to thank everybody first for being here, for the presentation. And again, I've always been admired of the detail that is given and the answers that are given. We'll see what happens with City Council. Like I said, there hasn't been an increase in quite a bit, but we'll see what happens. In that case, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. If there's no other reason to have an executive session or anything like that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Anybody have a name? In that case, we adjourn the meeting, today's meeting for the Capital Improvement Advisory Committee. Thank you very much, everyone.